Goonerettes, welcome back to the channel, everybody. I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas. Blessings for the Happy New Year to everybody. It really is one of those years that we can look back and say we've learned a lot, not just about ourselves, about how we live in a world of COVID, and Arsenal, the changes that they've made, and how everyone has sort of just got behind the team, which was Arteta's dream when he took over Arsenal Football Club. It was that the fans had become so detached from the club, and that was the one thing that he wanted to fix. But before I say that, I do want to say, you know, the world of football is mourning after it was announced that Brazilian icon Pelé passed away at the age of 82. And I've told you guys before in regards to generational football, a lot of people now out there saying Messi is the best because he scores goals and he's won the World Cup. And for me, guys, I've been watching football since the 70s, and that just falls on deaf ears. Because while I rate Messi, I rate Ronaldo, I think they're fantastic players. I thought Maradona was a fantastic player. Johan Cruyff, I could go through a lot of Franz Beckenbauer. Like, a lot of players were my idols. George Best as well. Realistically, Pelé was the guy who changed football for me. He got me into football. He got me to love the game. He never ever left his club. He played at Santos for his whole life and just was there to give back to Brazil. And his 3 World Cup wins has never been surpassed. He scored 1,200 goals in 1,300 games. And a lot of parallels that we see with these players now. If you look at the goals that he scored, the amount of games that he played, he was just unstoppable. But he was a generational player. A lot of people compared him back in the day to Muhammad Ali because of what they did in the sport and how much they got behind a whole generation in order to inspire them to play. So, yeah, rest in peace, Pelé. You were the best King Pelé, and in my opinion, the greatest of all time. But getting back on to Arsenal now. Arsenal, they look to wrap up their best start to the season in their history when they play in the final Premier League match of the year against Brighton. Now, the match kicks off at 5:30 on Saturday, but you can follow our live stream commentary here on this channel. And the Gunners, they came back from behind to beat West Ham on Boxing Day. Great atmosphere, great game, and a lot of answers that we got in that game was that we are full on charge. There was no hangover from the World Cup. Eddie Nketiah can be the man to take Arsenal over the next few months. Now, for Brighton, they beat Southampton 3-1, which is the same score, decent win for them. And a win in this game would see Brighton entering 2023 in the top 6. After Graham Potter left the club for Chelsea, who would have thought that somebody who we were saying was a reason for Brighton's success is actually left, and they are still able to do things without him and then challenge for European spots. It's crazy. So Brighton have only conceded 6 goals in the Premier League in home matches this season, and they will be going up against Arsenal, who have scored 36 goals. That's more than 2 per game. Now, only Man City has scored more. When you consider that Haaland is breaking all kinds of records and they're still getting goals from everywhere else, Arsenal have only scored 7 goals less than City. That is an incredible achievement from Arteta in just his 3rd year. Now, Brighton themselves, they're not doing too bad, guys. Brighton have scored 26 goals, which is a high for them before Christmas, and normally they've struggled in that department. And they've lost just 1 of their last 5 meetings against Arsenal in the Premier League. And we know Welbeck has scored 4 goals in his previous 5 games in all competitions against Arsenal, but he's doubtful to face them because of a muscle injury. Now, Alexis McAllister is not expected to be available following his post-World Cup break as well. And also, Moses Caicedo is banned after accumulating 5 yellow cards. So Billy Gilmour may start in his first Premier League game this season. For Arsenal, it's pretty much as is. Smith Rowe, he's short. He might make the bench. It depends on what happens with a late test. Tomiyasu is fit, and Gabriel Jesus and Reece Nelson will remain sidelined. Outside of that, everybody is back. So this game is so important for us because Arsenal go to Brighton. If they win, that is shots fired among the rivals, and that they can actually go all the way and win the title. Now, Arsenal have overcome many things this season, including being the best defensive team in the league, #1 in set pieces, beating Liverpool. That was a hard thing for them to overcome. So they are trending upwards, and beating Brighton would be another marker set for a team that's really been hard for them over the years. Now, Arsenal have kept 6 clean sheets in their last 8 Premier League away games this season. That's more than any other side. And they are the only team to have scored in all of their Premier League matches this season. And speaking of that, Nketiah, he scored 6 goals in his last 8 Premier League starts. So our rivals will say that Arsenal still have had, a couple of games to play against Man City. But even if City would have beaten Arsenal in the first half of the season, the Gunners would have still had a 2-point lead at the halfway mark. So it really doesn't change the narrative that Arsenal are at the top of the league and they're stunning everybody. Also, every other side to have hit 40 points after their first 15 games has gone on to win the title. So that tells you everything you need to know. They're not the old Arsenal. They have changed and they are breaking records left, right and centre, and they are trendsetters. And that is something that we are opened our eyes to. Now for Brighton, guys, they're probably going to go with Sanchez, Veltman, Dunk, Colwyn. They're going to go with Esputin, Gilmore, Gross, March, Lallana, Mitoma, Trossard. For Arsenal, it's as is, guys. It's going to be Ramsdale. I think Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko is going to be the back four. Xhaka and Partey, your bookends. And it's Saka and Martinelli on the wings. Odegaard as a number 10. And Nketiah as the anchor man. So that's where I think that's going to be. The prediction for me is I think it's going to be an Arsenal 2-1 away win. My reason for that is, as well as Arsenal's form and them being on top of the table, Brighton also have a few players missing. And with the reintroduction of Zinchenko for Arsenal, I believe that will break down Brighton's midfield area. Now, Martinelli and Saka on the wings are just unplayable right now. And there isn't a defence that's shown me this season that they've been able to hold them. Nketiah keeps on scoring goals regardless. I know he's 11 goals in his last 11 home games starts, but the away games has always been something fans have talked about. But that was changed when Arsenal went to Chelsea at the end of last season to Stamford Bridge, and Nketiah scored 2 away goals and got man of the match in that game in a 4-2 win. So I see a lot of things happening here. A lot of Arsenal fans doubting whether they can win the league, whether they can go away and beat teams that they've never really had a good record from before, whether Nketiah can score consistently. And what Arsenal are doing is they're changing that narrative. They're showing us every single week that they have adapted, that they have changed, that they are confident, and that they are on this stampede of form to win the league. So let me know what you guys think about this game in the comment section below. Let me know what your predictions are, and I'll catch up with you guys in the live stream. Speak to you guys later, and Happy New Year to you all. Peace out, man.